ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासुदेव गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थे सुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजता दधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। आप सभी का स्वागत है।
We welcome all of you to Srimad Bhagavad Gita class. We are studying second chapter, verse 17 onwards. In the previous verse, Bhagavan Shri Krishna told that in this world there are two types of vastus, Sat and Asat.
और सत वो है जिसका कभी विनाश।
Sat is that which is never destroyed, and Asat has two explanations. Advaita Vedantis say that Asat is that which never exists, like the horns of a donkey, and Vaishnavacharyas say that Asat means that which is mutable, which is ever changing. So according to Vaishnavacharyas, Tattva Vastu of two types, one is immutable and one is mutable. because that which never exists, it is futile to even think about that. So this is their understanding. So now is further explaining about Sat, because in the 16th verse he just said that Sat is that which never ceases to exist. Translation: that, however, by which this entire body is pervaded, you should know to be indestructible. Nobody can destroy this imperishable self. So, like in the previous verse, it was told about Sat and Asat. So, from here onwards, what we understand is that Sat is never going to be destroyed. Everybody agrees that in this verse, the object being explained is Sat. So, for that, Bhagavan is telling it is Avinashi, indestructible. It is never destroyed. So, from this, we also understand that the other one, that is Asat, it gets destroyed. That is why the explanation of Vaishnava Acharyas seems more plausible. So there is immutable and there is mutable. Mutable is that which gets transformed, because actually nothing gets destroyed. Even modern science accepts that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. In Sanskrit, Vinash or Avinash comes from the root Nash. Nash, like we say, to become Nashta, destroyed. But there in Sanskrit, Nash means Adarshane, which simply becomes like invisible or gets hidden from our vision. What was seen earlier is it is not seen now. So just because it is not seen now does not mean that its existence is destroyed. Because anything that exists, it cannot cease to exist. So this world is existing, we see that. So that means this existence cannot be destroyed, but transformation can happen even in something that exists. So for that, earlier also one example was given. So the body, like our body is mutable. So similarly, the objects of this world are also mutable. So so whatever experience we are getting, that is of transformable, immutable objects only. All the problem it rises from here only, that when we are unable to discriminate between Sat and Asat, and when we cannot discriminate between Sat and Asat, then we superimpose the qualities of one onto the other one. And because of that, we get into lamentation, dejection, bewilderment. All problems arise from that. Otherwise, there is no cause of lamentation. That's why Bhagavan began his teachings from here only. Asochananvashochastam. That you are grieving for that which is not worthy to be grieved for. Because dejection happens only when, how is it possible to grieve? Because eternal substance can never be destroyed. Lamentation happens when we have something and it gets destroyed. And fear happens when we have something and we think that it may be taken away from us. Then we become afraid. So, this dejection or lamentation and fear, Bhagavan is giving the remedy for these two diseases. That if you actually understand this, that one object is mutable and we cannot prevent its transformation, and the Sat, which is immutable, we cannot transform it. What is subject to Vinash means it can be transformed. We cannot make it immutable. Asat cannot be converted into Sat. Now there is a lot of research going on that how can we live eternally, we do not die. But this is not possible, because what is mutable will undergo transformation. You can maybe elongate that time period, or you can shorten that time period, but that is also a type of transformation only. But anitya cannot be converted to nitya, temporary cannot be converted to eternal, and eternal cannot be converted to temporary. If we can get this discrimination, one who has this discrimination is called Pandit, that is called Pragyavadi. So then no cause remains for dejection. Because what is mutable, it will definitely undergo transformation. Like day and night keep coming and going. Nobody grieves for that. Seasons keep coming and going. That's why Bhagavan said that you tolerate that. So here idam means our body, like idam shariram kaunteya.
संस्कृत में इदम अदस,
In Sanskrit, idam, etat,
सर्वनामों का प्रयोग होता है.
these pronouns are used like this and that. What is near, that is called idam.
एक प्रकार से बता रहे हैं कि ये,
So it is as if he is indicating the body and showing this, that this body
पूर्ण रूप से हर जगह व्याप्त है, उसका
which is being pervaded by this, the Atma, it is never destroyed. But in which it is pervaded, that is in the body, that body is going to get destroyed. Like we have Akash. Akash is pervaded everywhere. We cannot destroy it. Like we have a, let's say, room. So room indicates space. So the room is ultimately space. It is Akash only. The walls that we have constructed to limit that space. So the space, what it is, it will remain like that only. We can't do anything to that. We cannot increase, we cannot increase or decrease it. We can't do anything to that. Akash will remain Akash. And Akash is everywhere. Similarly, in our body, there is Atma, and it is pervading the entire body. And it is indestructible. It is Avinashi. Now the one problem happens, that if it is pervading the entire body, that means it is of medium size. According to Nyaya, there are three types of pariman. One is anu pariman, which is the smallest. Nothing can be smaller than that. That is called anu. And another is ananta. Nothing can be bigger than that, which has no end. And the other is madhyama. So there is anu, mahat, and madhyama. Smallest, largest, and medium. So those vastus which are of ananta or mahat pariman, that is the largest, they are nitya, they are eternal. And those which are of anu pariman, that is the smallest, they are also eternal. Because according to Nyaya, if something has to be destroyed, then its avayavas or its parts or limbs, if they can be broken, then the object gets destroyed. Like I have this table. So this table is made of different parts. It is a composition of multiple parts. So if we separate its parts, then the table will not exist any longer. But any object that is not having any parts or avayavas, how can we destroy it? There is no method for destroying it. That is why, according to Nyaya, these are the Siddhantas of Nyaya, Vedanta does not accept that. So the objects which are of Anu Pariman, the smallest size, they are also eternal, and those which are of Ananta size, biggest, they are also eternal. Like Akash is pervading everywhere, so it cannot be destroyed. But if Atma is pervading only inside the body, then it becomes of the Madhyama Pariman, the medium size, and then it will become subject to destruction or other transformation. So that is why two conclusions arise from here. One is that of Vaishnavas and one is that of Advaitavadis. The Advaitavadis say that Atma is all pervading, means Atma is one only, Brahma is everything, and this body has limited it. So it looks like a limited Atma. Like Akasha is everywhere, and you construct a room to limit that space. Similarly, the other person creates a room to limit that space. So these are called upadhis, which are limiting that space. So when Brahma gets upadhi, then what we get is Jiva. That is the explanation of Advaitavadis, but Vaishnavas do not accept that. They say Atma is Anu. So it is said in Shastra that Atma is of Anu Pariman, that is the smallest size. So this hair that we have, the tip of the hair, if you split it into 1000 parts, then that size of one part is like the size of the Atma. So the point is that Atma is of Anu Pariman, the smallest size. And what is pervading the body, that is by its Shakti. Atma is situated in one place only. And its consciousness energy that is spread across the body. Like in a room, bulb is in one place, but its light spreads everywhere inside the room. Similarly, Atma is situated in the region of the heart in the body, and from there, its consciousness spreads across the body. So this is the opinion of the Vaishnava Acharyas. So that is why this should be understood. It is explained in two ways. Here tatam means vyapta, pervaded. Bhagavan also tells in further verse, upcoming verse,
तो जैसे भगवान जो है पूरे जगत में
so like Bhagavan is pervading the entire creation, similarly the Jiva is pervading the entire body. So if we understand our body in similar way, we can understand this creation also. So in Charak Samhita it is said that whatever is in the world, it is in our body also. So body is available to us. If we can understand that, we can also understand this creation. So just like in our body, the consciousness of Atma is pervaded across the body. Similarly, Bhagavan is pervaded across the world by his energy. So this world, this creation, it is like the body of Bhagavan. Like we say, this is our body. Similarly, this creation is called Virat Purush. It is like the body of Bhagavan. Like our body is born, then it grows, it transforms, it dies. Similarly, it happens to this creation also. It is generated, then it expands, and then one time will come when it will start contracting. So the process is same. So whatever is the process for our body, what happens to our body, same thing happens to this creation also. So the Atma is Avinashi, indestructible, and the body is, it is Vinashashil, it is destructible. So like cloth has threads, or fire is pervaded across the flames. Similarly, this Atma is pervading the entire body by its energy. But Atma itself is situated only in one place in the body. So that is also found in the Shastras. So in Vishnu Puran it is said, just like fire situated in one place spreads its energy, similarly Atma is also located in one place in the body. So it expands. Tatam is from Tanu Vistare Dhatu. It expands, it spreads this energy. And because the energy expands or it spreads, if Atma would have been across the entire body, then nowadays, like we give anesthesia, if somebody is undergoing any surgery, then we give injection and anesthesia and temporarily make that part unconscious. So if Atma was everywhere, then how would this be possible? But because Atma is only in one place in the body and its consciousness is spread across the body, that is why when we give anesthesia, it it obstructs that consciousness, because that consciousness spreads through the blood, through the prana. So it is possible to obstruct that flow of consciousness temporarily. So that also proves that the opinion of Vaishnavacharyas seems more sensible. Otherwise, how would it be possible to obstruct the consciousness in some part in the body? That is why this is Sat Vastu. So from here we also understand that like Ishwar is indestructible, similarly Jiva is also indestructible. In Ramcharitmanas also it is said that Ishwar and Jiva are avinashi. Jiva is the angsha of Ishwar, like Bhagavan is indestructible. Similarly, Jiva is also conscious and indestructible. And like Bhagavan is pervaded across the creation, that Bhagavan says in Gita that I am pervading this entire creation. So Avyakta Murti is indicating his energy, what cannot be seen. Vyakta means what we can feel, we can experience. Avyakta, what we cannot experience. So Bhagavan is pervading through his energy. That is what he says as Avyakta Murti, what cannot be seen. Similarly, Atma pervades the entire body. Just like Bhagavan is eternal, Jiva is also eternal. So this is important to understand. It superficially seems people also speak about it, but if we understand it properly, then we will not have any lamentation or any fear. So this is the Satvastu. In Upanishad also it is said. So there are two Nityas. In Upanishad it is said Nityo Nityanam. If there was one Nitya only, just Brahma, then why would Upanishad say Nityo Nityanam? So it means that there are many Jivas. There are many Atmas, but Ishvara is one. So in among the many Atmas, there is one Ishvara, and both are conscious. Chetanas Chetananam. So Ishwar is Param Chetan. So Ishwara is one among them, and he is fulfilling our desires. So these are the two Nitya Tattva. Both are Sat. Both are immutable. And that is what Bhagavan is explaining here. Then in the next verse, he speaks.
अनाशिनो प्रमेयस्य तस्माद् युध्यस्व भारत. कहा गया है कि
Translation: all these bodies of the eternal, imperishable and immeasurable embodied self are said to have an end. Therefore, O descendant of Bharata, fight. So in the previous verse, it was not told that what is pervaded is referring to Ishwar or to Jiva. But this verse shows that what was referred to in the previous verse was Jiva and not Ishwar. Because he is telling Antavanta ime deha. This deha, sharir, the body, it is subject to end. It is anitya, it is not eternal. But what is vyapta, what is pervading, that is eternal. So that vyapta substance, the eternal substance, is called dehi or shariri, one who is inside the deha or the sharir. So deha is a combination of many limbs, many parts, and sharir is that which is subject to destruction. Slowly, slowly, its parts start getting destroyed. That is called sharir in Sanskrit. So if we are using this word and if we are aware, we are conscious of its meaning, then we will not lament. If we use the word sharir in Hindi, but those who are using this word in Hindi, if they are aware of the meaning of this word, then why should they lament when this body gets destroyed? Because that's what the word itself means. That is why it is called sharira. Its parts are going to get slowly, slowly destroyed. They will get broken. But the shariri, the atma inside the sharir, inside the body, that atma is nitya, it is eternal. So this body, it will get broken, it will break down. But the shariri, the atma inside the body, that is eternal. And he says here about that atma that it is anashi. Uh, it is anashi means its not its destruction will not happen. Anashi has another meaning, although here Bhagwan is not does not mean that here, but actually anashi also means one that who does not eat. Ashan Bhushan Vasan referred.
ऐसा उपनिषद में वाक्य है कि ब्राह्मण
So
लोग
in Upanishad it is said that Brahmanas, they want to know that they do tapasya, they practice brahmacharya, and anashakena means without eating. So this atma is anashi. It does not eat, and nobody can eat that atma also. That's why it is anashi. Because when we eat, then who is eating? Atma is not eating. If Atma would have been eating, then it would have grown in size by eating always. We know that the child, by eating, the child grows. But Atma is not growing. Atma is same size what it was during birth and even same at death. So Atma does not eat. That is why Atma is Anashi. And it survives without eating. So the point is that whatever sukha, dukha, pleasure, pain we are experiencing, these all experiences are happening outside the Atma. Bhagavan says further that all these ichha, dvesha, pleasure, pain, they all happen outside the Atma. Atma does not contact the body. That is why when Bhagavan is also in this world, he does not experience any pain or pleasure. Like people say that if there is Bhagavan, why there is so much pleasure, pain in this world? Why does Bhagavan not remove this? So there is lot of pain in the world, but that pain does not touch Bhagavan. It does not touch us Atma also. But the difference is that we superimpose this body on ourselves in our understanding. This is due to avidya. Due to ignorance, we start thinking that we are this body is ours, or our we are this body. So Avidya, it means
भ्रमित ज्ञान है, भ्रम।
the Brahmit Gyan,
तो उसमें जो
the
नित्य
false
है,
knowledge.
अनित्य को नित्य मानना,
So in that,
शरीर जो है
that includes considering
नित्य है,
anitya, what is non-eternal, to be eternal nitya.
लेकिन
Like
उसको
this
हम
body,
मानते
body
नहीं
is
है।
anitya, it is not
हम
eternal,
सोचते हैं
but we
मृत्यु तो
assume
होगी
it to
ही,
be eternal.
मतलब
We think
मृत्यु
that
निश्चित
we
है,
will never
इसमें होगा
die.
नहीं, ऐसे ही काम करते हैं ना।
This body,
इसको भूल
it will
जाते
never
हैं,
die. We work like that
इसको
only.
छोड़ के
We
जाते हैं।
forget that one day we have to leave this body.
अगर हम शरीर होते तो मृत्यु ही ना होती, क्योंकि हम तो नित्य हैं।
If we would have been
तो
body,
चारवाक
and since we are
कहता है
eternal, then we would
कि
never die
शरीर
only.
आत्मा है,
So Charvak says that this body is Atma,
उसके खंडन किया जाता है उसका।
and then
शरीर
his
का तो
theories are refuted
सोने आप सब
that if
जाते हैं,
body is Atma and when you dream,
शरीर
then
तो
who sees?
आपको कुछ ध्यान नहीं रहता, सुषुप्ति में चले जाते
Because
हैं,
you are
सब
not
भूल
conscious
जाते हैं।
of the body, and when in
लेकिन
Sushupti, when there is no dream also, then who is there?
अगर आत्मा ना हो,
If there is no Atma,
आंख मेरी पुस्तक को देखती है, हाथ उसको
and
लेने
when
जाता है,
and my eyes
जो
see
चीज
the book and
मेरी
my hands
संबंधित
are
नहीं
going
है,
to
और जिसको
take it,
देखा है वो ले नहीं सकता,
so what is moving to take it, that has not seen, and what is
इससे
seeing,
प्रतीत
that
होता
is
है
not
कि
taking
शरीर
it.
एक है,
So that means
जो
behind
उससे
both there
संबंधित
is
नहीं है।
one element which is connected with
तो
both.
आत्मा को मानना पड़ेगा ना।
So you have to
चारवाक
accept the
कहते हैं
Atma or
शरीर
no.
ही आत्मा है, तो सिद्ध
So when
करो।
Charvak says that body is Atma, then prove it. That
गुलाब जामुन
when you see the gulab jamun,
फिर हाथ हाथ कैसे चला जाता है वहां पे?
then how does a hand go there? Because hand did not see and hand did not
उसने आया,
smell it.
देखा, फिर हाथ कैसे गया लेने के
Then
लिए?
how did hand move towards
तो इसका मतलब है
holding the
दोनों
gulab
चीजें हैं,
jamun?
पीछे कोई एक बैठा हुआ
So
है,
that means behind both there is somebody who is sitting there.
ऐसा नहीं है कि आत्मा
So that
नहीं
is
है।
why it is not that Atma is not
बुद्ध
there.
वाले कहते हैं कि आत्मा अनादि है
The
लेकिन
both
अंत नहीं
Buddhists
होता है,
say that Atma is there, but
लेकिन वो
it
आत्मा
ends.
मानते नहीं है, वो चित्त को
Actually, they don't accept it
आत्मा नहीं
only.
मानते हैं, फिर निर्वाण हो जाता है, फिर कुछ रहता नहीं।
So then they say that once Nirvana happens, then there is
जैन की
nothing.
मान्यता है।
This is
जैन
their
क्या कहते हैं?
understanding. Jains
जैन कहते
say
हैं कि आत्मा जो है
that Atma,
घटती बढ़ती रहती है।
it keeps increasing and decreasing in
आत्मा जब
size.
चींटी में जाती है तो चींटी
When
बनती
Atma
है,
goes inside the ant, then
जैसे
it
पहले कहा ना,
takes
ये
the
नहीं
size
है,
of
वो
the
नहीं है,
ant, because it was
लेकिन
told earlier, Yena
शरीर
sarvam
बनता
idam
है
tatam. So they say that according to the size of the body, there is the Atma.
तो
Then
आत्मा
when
बड़ी हो जाना
from the
पड़ेगा,
ant body, when it goes to elephant body, then Atma
बड़ी
has
हो
to
जाएगी ना,
grows in size according
बड़ी
to the
बड़ी,
elephant body.
ऐसा जैन
Then
की
Atma
मान्यता है।
becomes mutable.
लेकिन यहाँ गीता में ऐसा नहीं है।
But Gita does not support that.
तो ये आत्मा जो है
So this Atma,
वो अविनाशी है,
it is indestructible, it is imperishable,
ये असंग है,
and it is asanga.
इसके ऊपर सुख दुख इत्यादि शोक मोह इनका कोई असर नहीं पड़ता।
So pleasure, pain,
तो फिर हम सुख दुख
lamentation, bewilderment, they do not affect the Atma.
तो उसका
Then the
कारण
question
क्या है?
comes, why do we feel pleasure, pain? So for the cause for that is this superimposition,
या उपाधि या अध्यारोप
the
ऐसे शब्दों
upadhi.
का प्रयोग किया जाता है कि एक वस्तु
One object is,
दूसरी समझ ली जाए।
when one object is considered to be something
तो
else.
रस्सी को आप
Like there
स्नेक
is,
समझ
let's
लो
say, rope,
गलती
and
से,
you
रस्सी
consider it to be snake.
रस्सी
So
को
actually
स्नेक
it is
बनने वाली
rope,
नहीं है,
and rope will never become snake,
रस्सी
and
बनने
snake
वाली
will
नहीं है,
never become rope.
लेकिन गलती से ऐसा हो जाता है,
But
अंधेरे में
by
रस्सी बड़ी
mistake,
है, ठीक से दिखाई
it
नहीं देती, तो
happens
लगा रस्सी
that
बंधी
in
है,
darkness
अगर कोई
there
हाथ
is
रस्सी वाला चला रहा है तो रस्सी
rope, and
बंधी
we
होती है,
can think it to be
तो सांप
snake. Like
को
in
सांप दिखाई
garden
देता
in
है,
the evening, if a
रस्सी
rope
देख
is
के सांप
lying,
दिखाई
is
नहीं देता,
there in a curved way, and let's say there is wind and slightly it
क्या
is
होता है
moving
आदमी उसको
also,
देखकर?
then you will become scared. You may think
तो
this is a snake.
अविद्या के कारण होता है ना,
So that
अज्ञान
happens
के कारण।
because of avidya, because of
यहाँ
ignorance.
प्रकाश होता तो आपको रस्सी रस्सी
If there would
दिखेगी,
have been light
इसी
there,
इसी
then
कारण से
you would have seen rope as rope
हमारे
only.
शरीर को
So similarly, because of avidya, we consider
ये
this
दो प्रकार
body
से
to be
अनुभव होता
ours.
है। एक तो
So this superimposition happens in two
शरीर
ways.
को अपने
One
अंग
is
मानते
that
हैं तो
we
सुख दुख
consider
इत्यादि,
body inside us, that
और हम
this
शरीर
body
को
is mine,
आत्मा को मानते हैं तो मैं
and
शरीर हूँ।
when we consider ourselves inside the
तो
body,
इसलिए
then we
हम
think
दोनों
we are
ढंग
the
से
body.
प्रयोग करते हैं, एक तो कहते हैं
So we
मैं
use it
शरीर
in
हूँ,
two ways. One is we say my body,
मैं शरीर,
and other we
दोनों
say
में हमें
I
पता लग
body.
जाए
Like we say, I have become fat, I have
हाँ
become thin, I
वजन
have
बढ़
become
गया,
sick,
तो ये तो
I
I
have
है
grown,
शब्द जो है शरीर के
become
लिए यूज
taller.
करेंगे,
So here I
तो
is
शरीर
used
हमें
for the body only,
समझ में
because
आती है,
it is the body that is becoming fat or
देह का भी
thin,
प्रयोग किया जाता है,
and we use it in the
हाँ
sense of mine only, mine
मेरा
also,
शरीर,
like my hands, my feet, my
उसका
body,
शरीर बहुत लंबा है,
his body is
ऐसे,
very tall.
तो ये
We
दो
speak like
प्रकार से
this.
आरोप है,
So in two ways this superimposition is
लेकिन
done.
वास्तव में वो दोनों अलग अलग ही रहते
So
हैं,
actually these two are separate
लेकिन
only, the
अविद्या
body
में
and the
इनको
Atma.
एक मान लिया
But
जाता
due
है,
to avidya,
जैसे
they are
अगर
considered as one.
ये
Like
स्फटिक या
if you
ग्लास,
have one glass or sphatika,
क्रिस्टल, क्रिस्टल रखा हुआ है,
if there is a
उस
crystal
ग्लास में कोई
kept,
आप वस्तु रख दें,
and if you keep
रंगीन,
an object near
एक फूल
crystal,
रख दें मानो
let's say
लाल रंग
a
का,
flower which is of red color,
तो लाल रंग का फूल जो है
so
उस
that
क्रिस्टल में
red flower,
प्रतिबिंबित होता
its
है,
red color gets
तो उसको
reflected
लाल
in
रंग का
the
वो दिखाई
crystal.
पड़ेगा,
So then you will see the crystal as red.
तो क्रिस्टल तो लाल हुआ नहीं है,
So that crystal has actually not become red.
लाल रंग है तो फूल का,
The red color is
लेकिन वो
actually of the
क्रिस्टल में दिख
flower,
रहा है,
but now it is being
तो
seen
वास्तव
in
में
the
क्रिस्टल में
crystal.
लाल रंग है
So
नहीं,
actually there is no red color
लेकिन
in
वो
the
दिखता है,
crystal, but it is seen like that.
तो इसको बोलते हैं अध्यारोप या अध्यास,
So this is called superimposition.
तो आप जब भी देखेंगे तो आपको लाल
So
दिखेगा,
whenever you see, you
मान
will
लीजिए
view it
आपके
as
पास
red
एक फूल
only.
रखा हुआ है,
Let's say you are
आपको
not
लाल फूल
seeing
दिखाई देगा,
the flower, you
लेकिन
will
वो
see
है
the
नहीं,
red crystal, but actually it is not red.
तो वो हमारे अज्ञान के कारण ऐसा
So
होता
that
है,
happens due to our ignorance.
आप चश्मे पहनते हैं,
We wear
चश्मे
glasses.
अगर हरे रंग का है तो चीजें हरी हरी दिखाई देंगी,
If there is a green object,
तो चीजें हरी हरी
if it is
कैसे
of green
दिखेंगी,
color, the glass, then
क्योंकि
everything will be
चश्मे का
seen
जो
as
रंग है
green.
वो उनके
So the
ऊपर
objects are not
प्रभावित हो
green,
गया है,
but the glass is of green
वो उस
color,
रंग की
and
तरह
that
है,
is why the green color gets superimposed onto
तो
everything
इसी
else
का नाम
and
है
it appears as
अध्यास,
green. So this is called adhyas.
इसी को उपाधि बोलते हैं,
It is also called upadhi.
उपाधि का मतलब उप माने समीप, समीप में,
Up means near,
जैसे
samip.
राष्ट्रपति उपराष्ट्रपति,
Like we say
मतलब पास
Rashtrapati,
में,
Uparashtrapati. Upa means
उसके
near,
नेक्स्ट,
next
और
to that.
आधि जिसका उस पर धारण किया जाए,
And adhi
पास
means
वाली वस्तु के गुण उसके
imposition,
ऊपर
to
अधिक
impose
दिखाई दे,
something on another.
उपाधि कहते हैं, तो
So
आत्मा
this
जो है
becomes
वो नित्य
upadhi.
है,
So Atma is eternal, it is
और शरीर
nitya,
अनित्य है,
and body is
लेकिन
anitya,
आत्मा
it is temporary.
अपने आप को शरीर
But
मानता
when
है, वो
Atma
शरीर को
considers
नित्य बनाना
itself to
चाहता
be
है,
Sharira, to be the body, then it wants to
जैसे
also
हम
make
कभी
the
कभी
body
सोच
as
सकते हैं कि
eternal.
बोले कि मैं कभी नहीं
Why we
मरूंगा,
have this desire in us that we
स्कूल में
never,
इसकी ट्रेनिंग नहीं
we
दी
should
गई,
never
स्कूल में ये
die.
नहीं कहा ना कि आपको
Nobody
मरना
trained you
नहीं
in
चाहिए,
school that you should
और
never
आप बैठ के
die,
उसका मंत्र जप करते हैं, फिर आपके अंदर ये भाव
or
आता
you
है,
sit and do
ये
mantra
सोच के नहीं
japa.
आता है, चींटी के अंदर
Did
भी
you get that bhav by
मच्छर
some
के
japa
अंदर
or
भी
something?
मच्छर
Even a
काटता है
small
उसको
ant,
और
insect also has that bhav that it
क्यों,
does not want to
मरना नहीं
die.
चाहता है वो,
If you touch the insect, then it will immediately
कहाँ
fly.
से आया है ये,
So from where
क्योंकि
uh,
आत्मा
this
नित्य
idea has
शुद्ध
come?
नित्य है,
Because Atma is actually eternal.
अंतवंत में देहा नित्य से उक्तः शरीर है ना, शरीर ही नित्य है,
The Shariri,
और
the Atma
शरीर
is
जो है वो
Nitya, it
नित्य
is
है,
eternal. And the
लेकिन ये
body
नित्य जो
is
है अपने आप को
perishable, it
अनित्य
is
से
not Nitya.
एकाकार कर लेता है,
But when this
तो उसको
Anitya,
नित्य
this
मानना
Nitya
चाहता है,
Atma considers
स्वभाव
body
में,
to be one with
लेकिन
itself,
वो कभी
then
बन नहीं
it
सकता,
also wants to make the body as eternal.
वो
But
बन
that
नहीं
is not
सकता,
possible.
जैसे फूल जो है वो क्रिस्टल के पास
Like
में उगता है,
flower
उसको
is
मैं कभी
there,
लाल
it
बना
is
नहीं सकता,
near crystal, so crystal
लेकिन अगर
cannot
फूल
become
बोले कि
red.
इसको मैं लाल बना के ही छोड़ूंगा, तो बनेगा नहीं,
But if the flower says that
उसका
somehow or other I will make this crystal or also red,
नित्य गुण
that
तो
is not
आत्मा में
possible.
है, लेकिन वो
The
उसका
red
स्वभाव
color
नहीं
belongs to
बदलता,
the flower, not to the crystal. So the Nitya
तो
quality is in the
सोच सकते हैं
Atma,
आप कितनी
but
रिसर्च
Atma
इसके
tries to
ऊपर
make
चल
the
रही है,
body also as
हो रहा है,
Nitya. And for that, so
कि
much
शरीर
research
मरेगा,
is going
शरीर को
on
निकालना
across the
पड़ेगा,
world, and billions of
तो फिर
dollars are being
बनेगा नहीं,
spent for that. But that will never happen. The body will never become eternal.
तो वही हम सब करते रहते हैं
So
अपने
this
जीवन
is
में,
what we keep doing in our life.
और दूसरा ये
And the other point
कि
is that when
हम शरीर को अपना मानते हैं,
we consider the body to be
मैं
ours,
शरीर हूँ,
one is that I
ये
am
शरीर
the
मेरा है,
body, and the other is we think the
तो जब
body is
शरीर मेरा
ours.
है
So when we
तो
say the
शरीर का गुण
body is
मेरे अंदर आ
mine,
जाता है,
then
तो
the
फिर उसका स्वरूप
quality
बन
of the
जाता है,
body comes in me. then we start becoming fearful that we will
किसी ने
die.
अपना मैं मरता हुआ देखा है?
Nobody
किसी को अनुभव है अपनी मृत्यु का?
has anybody experienced his own
क्या
death?
किसी को अपनी
Does
मृत्यु का
anybody remember having experienced his or her own death? No, and that will never
मृत्यु
happen
होती नहीं है।
also because there is no death.
मृत्यु होती है शरीर की,
Death happens
शरीर
actually
होती
only
नहीं
to the
है।
body, and body is also actually already dead.
विच्छेद हो
What will
जाती
it
है,
die? That death is just a
शरीर से
separation of the
विच्छेद होती है,
body
उसको
and
बोलते हैं।
Atma. The separation of body and Atma is called death.
तो वो फिर सोचता है कि मैं मर गया।
So then the Atma thinks that now
जैसे
I only have died.
कोई धन है, कोई धनी व्यक्ति है, धनी का
Like
मतलब
if
क्या
there
है
is a
कि
rich
मेरा धन
person,
है ये, मैं धनी हूँ या धन मेरा है।
he has
तो
riches,
उसका
he has
धन
wealth.
अगर विनाश हो जाए
So if
तो
his
कहता है
wealth
मैं मर
gets
गया।
destroyed, then he says that I have died.
लोग ऐसे कहते हैं ना, मैं मर गया, मैं
People
मर
say
गया।
like this, I have died, everything is stolen.
तो वास्तव में तो वो
People
नहीं
speak
मरा
like
है ना,
this.
वो मरा है।
So actually the person has neither
ना
died.
तो उसका धन लुटा है, ना उसका
What he has
उसके पास
lost is
घोड़े
the
तोड़े नहीं है।
property or the wealth. The
फिर वो
person
उसको
himself
तो
has
कुछ नहीं
not, he has
कहता,
not lost himself.
वो कहता ही नहीं
If
मैं
he
मर गया,
himself
ऐसा
got
कैसे
lost,
कह
then how
सकता है?
would he say that he lost himself?
लेकिन
How can
उसको
you
भी
speak
हम
like that?
कहते हैं क्योंकि
But
उसका
why we
अपना
speak like this?
तादात्म्य बना है,
Because we
स्थापित
have
है।
established a kind of a
यथा तथा
oneness,
कारण तादात्म्य के
tadatmya,
कारण तादात्म्य।
with that material
जहाँ
object.
वो तो होती नहीं है,
There is actually no oneness, but we just
तो
assume it
मानने के
like
कारण
that.
ही जो है ये
So
सब
because of
समस्याएं
that
होती हैं।
assumption, all problems arise.
तो उसको मानने को उल्टा करना है अपने को।
So that assumption, we have to reverse that.
तो जितना भी
That is what
सुख
Bhagavan is
मोह है
teaching here.
वो केवल
So all the
संकल्प है,
lamentation, dejection, bewilderment, it is all based on
इस
this
मान्यता के ऊपर कि मैं
ignorance,
शरीर हूँ।
this assumption that I am the body.
और फिर उसमें आसक्ति रहती है क्योंकि
And
वो
then
मेरा है।
we have attachment to that because we think it
वास्तव
is
में तो है
ours.
नहीं वो।
Actually, it is
जैसे
not
भगवान ने कहा था कि आपका कैसे, आपने क्या
ours.
खरीदा
How
इस
can
शरीर
it
को?
be ours? Like I told earlier also, did we
शरीर को
manufacture
किसी
the
ने दिया नहीं
body
तो
or
आप
did we
कैसे कह
purchase it?
सकते कि ये मेरी है, मैंने पैसे दे
Anything
दिए?
that belongs to me, it is only
चाहे उसका
possible
मकान
if
हो,
I manufacture
चाहे वो
it
मकान
or if
मेरा
I
है, मेरा
purchase
मकान
it from somewhere in the
क्योंकि
market.
आपने कुछ
Like
खरीदा
you
है।
construct a building, then you can say it belongs to you, or you purchase a shirt, you can say it
ना तो
belongs to
शरीर को
you.
खरीदा ना बनाया है,
So
तो आप
neither
कैसे
you
कह सकते
purchase
हैं?
the body nor you have manufactured the body. Then how does it belong to you?
कैसे?
But due to ignorance,
यही
we
एक
consider it like that.
भ्रांति हो जाती है
If somebody
कि
gives something to you, then also you can say it belongs to you. If somebody
ये
gives
है
you
मेरा।
some
ऐसा
shirt
नहीं
as
है,
a gift,
शरीर
you
किसी ने
can
दिया
say
नहीं
it
तो
is yours.
हम
But
कहेंगे
the
कि ये
body
तो
is not
ईश्वर
even
ने ही
gifted to
मुझे
you by
दिया है।
somebody, or where we standing somewhere and somebody came to us and told take this body.
तो
That is, it
ये
is
मन
also
का
not
किया
the
है कि
case.
ये मेरा है,
So it is just an assumption
और कुछ नहीं।
that it is ours. We just consider it like that, nothing more.
जब तक ये मान्यता रहेगी
So as long as this assumption will
शोक और
continue,
मोह में पड़े रहेंगे।
till that time we will
तो इसलिए
be
वहीं से वो कहता है
immersed
ना,
in
धृतराष्ट्र
lamentation,
ने
in
बोला
bewilderment. So Gita began with that.
उनको कि
Dhritarashtra
माम,
said, Mamaka, mine.
तो वो मोह 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 ही
So
उनको अंधा करता है। धृतराष्ट्र क्यों?
so the bewilderment
अंधा
makes us
मतलब क्या
blind.
होता है?
Moha
ठीक
makes
से
us
उसी को
blind.
देखता बोलते हैं।
Dhritarashtra is blind. Blind means one who cannot see.
ठीक से जिसको दिखता नहीं है, लेकिन जो अविद्या में है, अज्ञान में है, वो भी तो अंधा ही
One
है।
who is in avidya, one who is in
है
ignorance,
तो रस्सी
that
उसको
person
रस्सी
is
दिख
also
रहा है, ये
blind.
भी तो अंधापन है ना।
If you are seeing the rope as a snake,
वो
that
भी
is
तो
also a
अंधापन है
sort of
इसलिए।
blindness
वही
only.
तो समझे।
So
तो
Dhritarashtra said
अर्जुन
like
के
that.
अंदर भी वही मोह पैदा हो गया, मेरे
So
से
Arjun
मेरे साथ
also
लड़ाई
fall
करेगा,
into
मेरे
that
भाई,
kind of
मेरे
moha
पिताजी, मेरे
that
गुरु,
my
मैं
brothers, my uncles,
कैसे
my
लड़ूंगा,
grandfathers,
कैसे
my
करूंगा?
gurus, how can I
मतलब
fight with
उसी के
them?
ऊपर प्रहार कर रहे हैं, वो जो मेरा
So
मेरा
Bhagavan
है।
is attacking that only, this his
इसको
idea
समझना
of
आवश्यक है।
me and mine.
पहले अध्याय में जितना भी वो
This is
बातें
what we
कही
have
थी
to understand
ब्रह्मज्ञ
properly. Whatever we had
सारी,
discussed,
वो सब
we
मेरे लिए
discussed
थी।
at length in the previous chapter. Everything was
वो जो
with in
आसक्ति,
respect to mine. This is mine, that is mine.
उस
That
आसक्ति को ही
attachment,
भगवान
that
काट रहे हैं
attachment is what Bhagavan is
ज्ञान
cutting
की
here
तलवार से।
by the sword of knowledge.
तो इसको समझना बहुत आवश्यक है।
It is extremely important to
अध्यात्म मार्ग
understand
यहीं से
this,
आरंभ होता
and
है।
this is where the path of Adhyatma,
अध्यात्म का ज्ञान
spirituality
होने द्वारा
begins.
आत्मनि अधिकृत्य वर्तते इति अध्यात्म। जो आत्मा संबंधी ज्ञान है वही अध्यात्म
So
है।
this knowledge regarding the Atma, that is Adhyatma.
तो इसलिए कहते हैं कि अंतवंत इमे देहा नित्यस्य उक्ता शरीरिण। तो शरीरिण एक वचन है,
तो शरीरिणा is singular and deha is
श्रुति
plural.
में षष्ठी विभक्ति एक
Deha
वचन,
is plural.
षष्ठी विभक्ति एक वचन, और देहा ये प्रथमा विभक्ति बहुवचन.
So sharirina is singular and deha is plural. So shariri is one only, singular, because he keeps on taking different bodies. Like sannyasis used to travel earlier, today here, tomorrow there, someday somewhere else. Sannyasis never had one place. That's why they were called parivrajaka. Nowadays we say parivrajaka. So that means with not having any fixed place of residence. So similarly, Atma keeps moving from place to place, from body to body. So Atma keeps traveling from one body to another body. Atma is same only. Atma neither decreases in size nor increases in size, but it simply keeps taking different bodies. That is why it was referred to as anashi, imperishable. And the other one is referred to here, and the other word used is aprameya. Prameyam is the object of knowledge. In Sanskrit, this word is there. In the beginning, when I had given the introductory classes for this course, so I had explained pramata, praman, prameya. Praman means valid knowledge. So knowledge can be pramatmaka and brahmatmaka, valid and invalid. Consider understanding an object as it is, that is pramatmaka, that is valid knowledge. And brahma is considering something to be something else, that is aprama. And all knowledge always has its object. Knowledge cannot be without any object. Knowledge means it will be regarding something. There will be some object of knowledge. So like if we say this person is very knowledgeable. Knowledgeable means knowledge of what? Knowledge of which subject? Knowledge, you will have knowledge of something, one or two topics or more topics, but for some fixed topics. If you simply say he has knowledge, what does it mean? Knowledge of what? So that object of knowledge is called prameya, which is understood by prama. That is called prameya, and that knowledge is called prama. And the medium of that knowledge, that is pramana, and the knower of that knowledge is the pramata. So here Bhagavan is telling this Atma is aprameya. Aprameya means it is not that you cannot understand it at all. Prameya means which is the object of knowledge. Aprameya, which is not the object of knowledge. So here what it means is that the way we understand other objects through our senses, in that way we cannot understand the Atma. It is not a subject of to be understood by our indriyas, our senses. It is beyond our senses. In Upanishad it is said, see this Atma, know it. We should know it, we should experience it. But its praman is different. In the for the material objects, the pramanas are our indriyas, the five pramanas, the five senses. Through them we gain knowledge, what we call as pratyaksha praman. So now for knowing the Atma, the process is different. That is why it is referred to as aprameya here by Bhagavan. And aprameya also means that this Atma itself is the knower. It means that without the Atma, you cannot get knowledge, is not possible. So it is anashi and aprameya. So now because it is aprameya, that is why people do not know the Atma. We are all Atma. You do not have to tell anybody that you are. I do not have to tell anyone that I am. So we all experience ourselves. Nobody can say that he has no experience of himself or herself. Nobody can say like that. So I am that everyone understands.
नहीं ब्रेक के लिए खेद है.
So we apologize for the interruption.
कैमरा गर्म हो गया. तो शरीर और शरीर की बात हम कर रहे थे.
So we were discussing about the body and the Atma, how we experience lamentation and bewilderment. So aprameya means that this is beyond the indriyas, the senses. Like we get knowledge of the other objects through our indriyas, our senses. It does not mean that we do not have knowledge about ourselves, but it does not mean that we don't have any knowledge. We understand this much, that we exist, and accordingly we behave also. We also deal in this world. And when we are in the state of sushupti, the dreamless sleep, the deep sleep, that time also we exist. That time our relation is neither with the body nor the mind, but still we exist. But that time we do not have knowledge, because atma, if we have to understand that atma, if it has to get knowledge, it needs indriyas, the senses. So atma has its own existence, but it does not have knowledge of its existence, and it cannot express its existence through words. For that there is no vocabulary. So then Bhagavan says, Tasmad Yudhyasva Bharata. He comes to the main point. That is why, hey, O descendant of Bharata, here Bharata means knowledgeable person, Bha means knowledge. And anyway, you were giving lot of lectures in the previous chapter. So understand this point and fight. Why is he telling Arjuna to fight? People say that Bhagavan provoked Arjun to fight in the war. This allegation is made on Bhagavan Shri Krishna many times. Today's the youth of the modern times, they also tell many times. I have been asked this question many times, that why did Bhagavan provoke Arjun to fight? They say that Arjun was a peace-loving person. But the answer is that if Arjun was a peace-loving person, did he come to the war to participate in eating? He came there to fight. Arjun told Bhagavan to place the chariot between the two armies. So Bhagavan knew that art of driving the chariot. Bhagavan had told actually that he would not fight. It was Arjun who came to take help of Bhagavan in this war. Bhagavan had told clearly when Duryodhan and Arjun came. Bhagavan told that I will not fight. So who is fighting? Bhagavan did not come there to fight. Arjun came there to fight. Arjun lifted his bow, Gandiv, and he was ready to fight. He told to Bhagavan that please place my chariot between the two armies. So Bhagavan simply obeyed Arjun's order. So Arjun came there to fight, and that is what Bhagavan is reminding him, that you came here to fight, now fight. You brought me also here unnecessarily. Now I have to face the insult because of you. So now people will say that, see, Bhagavan, Krishna also went with this Arjun who is a coward. So he is reminding Arjun that do what you have come here to do. So now what is it the point for us in this? The message for us is that in our life also we face such situations, such problems, where due to avidya, due to ignorance, we cannot understand the truth, and due to misunderstanding, we take wrong decisions in life. And what we should do, we do not do that, or we become unable to do that. That is what Bhagavan is telling here, that whenever you are engaged in any activity, then do not become disturbed due to any avidya or ignorance. The useless attachment that is disturbing you, do not be disturbed by that. Perform your duty. That is what is meant here by fighting the war. Now don't make excuses to run away, to escape from your duty. This is what people do. This happens for seva also. You tell somebody to do some seva, you won't do that. You will bring some excuse that I do not have time, this happened, that happened. Actually, there is no reason for escaping from the seva, but people give excuses. So that's why Bhagavan is telling here, fight. So in Purva Mimamsa, there are vidhis. There are three types of vidhis. Vidhi means when you are told to do something, Bhagavan is simply repeating that point. Arjun had come here to fight in the war. Bhagavan is simply repeating that. Bhagavan, it is not that Bhagavan is telling him for the first time to fight. People do not understand that, and they tell all this. In the Jain path, then they say that Bhagavan, they went to Narak due to this. These kind of stories are there in their Puranas. That is now in the hell. Mahatma Gandhi was also influenced by Jainism, and that's why he also propagated this ahimsa, non-violence. He was a follower of Gita, but he simply said that this he propagated mostly non-violence, but he could not refute the Gita also. He got a lot of inspiration from Gita. He was influenced. Whenever he felt disturbed, he read Gita. But he told that actually there was no war or anything like this, because he also could not digest this point that Bhagavan is reminding Arjun to fight. But this is not true. This is a historical fact. Now we have lot of pramanas by archaeology. There's a place near Kurukshetra. There a lot of evidence has been excavated. So it is not that this war is simply symbolic. Yeah, symbolic message is there, but that is for us. Bhagavan is beyond violence and non-violence. People simply hold on to one thing, only himsa, only violence. But when the other person is violent, then how can you practice non-violence? You also have to become violent. Bhagavan is not violent, but Bhagavan is at the same time not afraid of violence. If required, Bhagavan can be violent. That's why he keeps Sudarshan Chakra with him. Gandhi was not carrying any gun with him. If Bhagavan also would have been non-violent like Gandhi, then why he kept Sudarshan Chakra with him? Bhagavan is neither violent nor non-violent. He is beyond both. So whatever is the situation, according to that situation, whatever duty is there, Bhagavan performs that, and Bhagavan is encouraging the Jiva to perform the duty according to the situation. But due to agyan, due to avidya, we become unable to perform our duty. Due to lamentation, due to pleasure, pain, all this pleasure, pain, it was told earlier, it is simply a disturbance. So that's why it was told that one who is remaining undisturbed in pleasure and pain. So what happens to us is we become immersed in pain as well as pleasure. In pleasure also we forget our duty. In pain also we forget. In fear we forget. In lamentation we forget. In bewilderment we forget. So rising above all these dualities, that is yoga. So for that you don't have to sit and do some pranayam. You just have to use your intelligence properly. First of all, you have to understand this properly by your intelligence. And until and unless we understand it properly and become firm in our understanding and act accordingly, then we may do as much as pranayam we like. But what will happen? We will again fall into lamentation, bewilderment. So every person faces such situations in his or her life. There is no person who has not faced such situation and will not face. Maybe anybody. But how to accept that situation, how to handle it, how to react in that situation, how to take decisions in that situation, it depends on our state of mind. So Bhagavan also faced many situations like this. Time and again he faced, but he was never influenced by lamentation or bewilderment. So that is what he is teaching us. That, as he said, that Jiva is Angsha of Bhagavan only, as Bhagavan will say in upcoming verse. So the point is that the way Bhagavan is not impacted or influenced by all these dualities, he wants that we should also not be influenced by these dualities. That's why he is teaching accordingly. So we stop here, and if you have any question, you can ask.
नवदीप जी पूछते हैं कि आत्मा यानी जीव क्या आई को प्रदर्शित करती है? इसका क्या मतलब है कि सुख और दुख, राग और द्वेष?
So the question is, Atma referring to the self, the Jiva, I? What does it mean by all Sukha, Dukha, Raga, Dvesha is outside the Atma? Who is really experiencing Sukha, Dukha, Raga, Dvesh? Because a body, dead body, won't experience anything. So I is used for Atma, but currently we are using I not just for Atma, but Atma plus body. The whole, the this is the coalition government. Nowadays there is fashion, many parties come together and they govern the state, the coalition government. So this is a coalition government. Here currently the I, the me that we are using the word, we are using it for Atma, Man, Atma, mind, body, intelligence, everything, the whole complex. So the experience happens to this coalition government. The body is already dead, but currently it is not dead because the consciousness of the Atma is pervaded in the body. So like there is darkness in the room, but you switch on the bulb and there is light across the room. So the light is not of the room, it is of the bulb, but still as of now the light is there. Similarly, there is consciousness in the body, and because of consciousness uh, we are experiencing the material ego that is experiencing all this. So actually nothing happens to the Atma.
नवदीप जी का पुनः प्रश्न है, जब कोई हरि नाम करता है, प्रसाद पाता है, शास्त्रों को सुनता तथा
So next question, when one chants Hari Nam, honors Prasadam, hears and studies scriptures, who really experiences Atma or body? Though all activities done through body. That's what I said, that now this coalition government, it is working neither Atma nor body. Nobody can experience on its own. Neither Atma can experience on its own, neither nor body can experience on its own. It is the together they are experiencing. Next question, if consciousness can be blocked by an injection like a dentist does to repair a tooth, would it be possible to withdraw consciousness from the tooth instead of using an injection? And how would this be done? Do you know a method to do this?
यह किस प्रकार से किया जा सकता है? क्या आप इसकी कोई प्रक्रिया बता सकते हैं?
हाँ, इसकी भी प्रक्रिया है.
Yeah, there is a method for this also. Earlier that method was used. Nowadays there is injection system. I have experienced it earlier. In Vrindavan there was a sadhu. I went to him and he put two fingers on the side of my neck and I just made me unconscious immediately. And then he brought me back to consciousness. Then again he did that. And he was telling me that even by seeing, I can stop his consciousness. Just by seeing, I can stop a person's consciousness. Now, I don't know whether he is still living or no. This is what I experienced around 30 years back. This was my personal experience. Next question, why Shri Bhagavan is so much emphasizing on doing one's duty when everything is temporary and Atma does not belong to the material world?
और जो आत्मा है वो मटेरियल वर्ल्ड से बिलोंग नहीं करती है.
इस चीज को समझने के लिए इसका अनुभव तो नहीं है ना अभी.
So you have to understand this. We don't have experience of this. This experience that the material world is temporary. In order to experience that, we have to continue performing our duty. If you fall on the ground, by taking support of the ground only, you have to rise up. So what you are bound with, you have to take help of that only to become liberated. That's why he is telling, perform your duty. Like in Ayurveda, it is said, what is the cause of disease? That also is the solution for the disease. They give a different potency for that. Similarly, this is the principle in homeopathy.
उत्कर्ष जी पूछते हैं, जय जय श्री राधे
Next
महाराज,
question.
साष्टांग दंडवत प्रणाम महाराज। मेरे दो
I have two questions.
आत्मा यदि शरीर से
If
भिन्न है और
Atma is different from the body and it is situated in its own Ananda, then whatever karma actions are done through the body, why does Atma have to suffer for that by changing the bodies? Next question, when can we experience that we are different from the body and we are Atma? So Atma has to suffer for that karma because the cause is avidya. This superimposition of body on the Atma, that is done due to the avidya. Because of avidya, we think that we are this body or body to be ours. Because of that, suppose if you consider somebody to be yours, if you consider somebody to be some person to be yours, forget that. If you consider some object to be yours, like let's say you have a car, it's a very costly car, you are attached to that. If that car meets an accident, then you feel bad for that or no? But actually nothing has happened to you. So if you have deep attachment for that, then you will feel as if you have met that accident. If you love somebody very much, you are attached to that person. If somebody happens to him, like if something happens to a child, mother feels as if that has happened to me only. So that is because of that superimposition.
दूसरा प्रश्न था कि हम ये कब अनुभव कर पाते हैं कि हम
So
शरीर
other question was that when do we experience that we are different from the body? That will happen when you become free of the avidya. As such, daily at night when you sleep, when you are in, are you aware of the body? So from that you can make an inference. When you are sleeping, are you aware of the body, but you are still dreaming or no? So then how come you are the body? Because you are not even aware of the body. Where is it lying? When you wake up, then you see you are here. In your dream, you are somewhere else only.
प्रश्न है, राधे राधे महाराज,
Next question.
बुद्धि की और अंतरात्मा की आवाज ये तीनों अंदर से आती है।
The voice of the conscience, the buddhi, the man, they come from inside. How do we recognize them? So answer, this is all nonsense. This internal voice from inside, this is all imagination. Everything is coming from the mind only. There is nothing voice of conscience and all those things. People say that this is voice of Antaratma, Bhagavan, Paramatma and all that. Nothing like that. All these are coming from mind only. These are nothing but thoughts coming from the mind. That is from the samskaras.
नारायण जी पूछते हैं, प्रणाम
Next question.
नमस्कार, आपने समझाया कि
You explained that Atma is
विषय को
conscious
समझते हैं,
and eternal.
आत्मा के
For
लिए
Atma to do anything or know anything or feel any bliss, it needs a body.
इन सब के लिए
So the
किसी और
question
शरीर
is,
की आवश्यकता
can
होती है?
Atma
प्रश्न
exist
ये है
without any material or
क्या आत्मा
spiritual body?
material
Is
और
that
spiritual
state
body
what
को
is
exist
referred
कर
to as
सकती है?
Brahman cognited
क्या ये
state?
ब्रह्म ज्ञान की स्थिति तो नहीं है?
Bhagavan told earlier only that the Sat Vastu, it will never cease to exist. The real will never cease to exist. So what is existing, it always will exist. The Brahma Sayujya Mukti which is there Atma exists. There Atma neither has any spiritual body nor any material body. Simply Atma existing there in Brahma. And that I told earlier that when you are in the state of dreamless sleep in Sushupti, then you are existing. That time, neither you have any relation with the subtle body nor the gross body, but still you are existing. So this Sat can never be made Asat. Even Bhagavan cannot do that.
प्रशांत जी पूछते हैं, प्रणाम बाबा जी,
Next
क्या
question.
आत्मा को आधुनिक
Can Atma be
वैज्ञानिक
detected through modern
परीक्षण
scientific
द्वारा
instruments?
पता लगाया जा सकता है?
तो अभी भगवान ने कहा ना अप्रमेय है,
So Bhagavan told here it is aprameya.
इसलिए तो अप्रमेय मैंने कहा था पहले।
That's why I explained aprameya. It is not possible.
राधे श्याम जी बोलते हैं, राधे श्याम महाराज जी, मैंने आपकी बायोग्राफी आपके इंटरव्यू से जानी है महाराज जी, आपके मानव
Next question. I heard your interview.
में बताइए।
What is your viewpoint above human life?
क्या मतलब?
Please explain it
आपके मानव
detail.
जीवन के बारे में क्या व्यू पॉइंट है, कृपया विस्तार में बताइए।
मानव जीवन भगवत प्राप्ति के लिए बना है, पता नहीं।
So my point is that human life is meant to attain Bhagavan. That is the goal of human life. That much is what I can say. I don't know exactly what is your question. Even if you whatever else you obtain, it will all be lost at one point of time, because that is all perishable. That is what we studied. Your body itself is perishable. Whatever you obtain through the body, it is all perishable. So what is its benefit? So if you give up the eternal substance and run after the non-eternal substance, the temporary substance, then you lose both sides. What is asat, you will anyway lose it, and you end up remaining without obtaining the sat also. So this human life is extremely important. Although it itself is subject to destruction, but it can give you that vastu which is non-destructible. That is the special quality of this human body, and that is why that is the goal, object, the purpose of the human body. Because the asat, the perishable, will anyway go away. Each and every object that you have, it is anyway going away from you. Currently also it is going away from you. One day it will go away completely. Like you are walking on a road, so with every step you are moving ahead or no towards the goal. It is not that you reach the goal only to at the end suddenly. So at every step you are moving towards the goal. So currently whatever you have, it is being taken away from you slowly, and one day at one point of time it will be completely taken away. This is the real truth.
संदीप जी कृपया प्रश्न पूछिए।
वो पीछे उनका है।
राधे राधे महाराज जी, मेरा प्रश्न है किसी की सेवा।
Next question, how to do seva for somebody? Why I'm asking, because if body is required to get self realization,
सेवा का एक माध्यम है या किसी भी जीव का, मैं सिर्फ गुरुजनों का सेवा ही नहीं बोल रहा।
so my question is not just for seva of guru janas, not just manasi seva. How to do seva of anybody? So counter question is, whose seva you want to do?
हमारी यहाँ रहने के तात्पर्य सेवा भावी है।
हाँ, तो सेवा का मतलब होता है जिसकी आप सेवा करते हैं, इन्हीं के जो
seva means you do seva for one who is savior, one whose seva you have to do. You should act favorable to that person, by which he gets pleasure, he gets happiness. That is called seva. Act accordingly. Now whom you are serving, I don't know. Let's say if you are serving cow, so you should see what the cow needs, what will please the cow. If you are serving parents, you should see what they need, you should fulfill those needs, talk to them. This is seva.
तो सेवा फिर जो सेव्य है उनकी प्रसन्नता के लिए जो योग्य है वो करने, मतलब वो कार्य करने में है।
हाँ,
so seva is to act for the pleasure of the savior. Otherwise you are doing your own seva only. If you are acting for your own pleasure only, what kind of seva is that? People do this also.
Is there difference between Avinashi and Anashi?
There is no difference. अविनाशी और अनाशी में क्या अंतर है? कोई अंतर नहीं।
So there is no difference between Avinashi and
दोनों शब्दों का
Anashi.
प्रयोग किया है यहाँ पे।
Both words are
अविनाशी,
used here.
अनाशी। नस धातु का
It is from Nash Dhatu.
शब्द बना है, उसमें भी उपसर्ग लगाने।
So just if you put V upsarga, it is Vinashi.
प्रश्न है कि आपने अभी कहा कि
Next
हमारे
question,
अंदर से
you
आवाज़ आती
said
है, वो
just
नहीं
now
आती है।
that the
तो पिछली
voices in
कक्षा में
ourself are
आपने
not
बताया
coming
था
from
कि
Atma,
हमें
but in an earlier
मन से ही
class.
आती है, जो भी आप जो अंतरात्मा कह रहे हैं, बुद्धि
So
कह रहे हैं,
what I am telling is that all this Antaratma, etc., that you are telling, I am telling it comes only from the mind. I don't say that there is no voice from inside, but it is all from mind only. Whatever thoughts, experience, what you are having, it is all in the mind only. What is Antaratma? There is Atma only inside. Now, what is Antaratma that people say? Atma does not speak anything. It doesn't have any tongue. Atma is not in a mind. It is simply the source of consciousness. Consciousness comes from it in the body. So all these thoughts that are around, these are all
वो
going
तो
on in the
ठीक है
mind.
कि ये आत्मा से नहीं
So
आती है,
his
मन से
question
आती है।
is that,
हाँ, लेकिन आपने पिछली कक्षा में कहा था
so his question
कि
is that
अगर
you had
इंद्रियां
told
सुन
earlier
के
that we
जब
have
तक
an inner
संतुष्ट नहीं
voice,
होती
and
है
if we
तो
don't
मन नहीं
listen to
जाती
it,
है।
it will stop speaking to us. So the inner voice that I had told, that is mind only. In your mind only you get the thoughts, whatever you are getting. That inner voice is of mind, in mind only. All the desire, thoughts, or any other experience, it is all in the mind only. But its cause is your old samskaras.
संदीप जी कृपया प्रश्न पूछिए।
प्रणाम बाबा जी महाराज। मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि आत्मा का ज्ञान देने के बाद भगवान,
So the question is that after giving knowledge of Atma, Bhagavan is telling that now you fight.
लेकिन ये बात तो धर्म के सिद्धांत पे भी कही जा सकती थी कि
So it could have been told on the Siddhanta of Dharma also that you are a Kshatriya and your Dharma is to fight. So why you should fight?
जब ये आत्मा का ज्ञान दिया गया,
But when this knowledge of Atma was given, then there is one more possibility that any person, when he gets the knowledge of Atma, then he can become totally detached, can become like a sannyasi. So why is it that after giving the knowledge of Atma, he is again bringing Arjun to the point of duty? So the question, what do you mean by a sannyasi? No, so he's telling sannyasi means one who has such a thought that what is my duty? I just have to go to the forest and I do dhyana. So if you get that is fine, this type of thoughts, but Arjun did not tell like that. No, this is your story. If you can actually be like that, then do it.
पर कोई ऐसा
आपने कहीं देखा है आपने ऐसा होते हुए? आपके साथ हुआ है क्या ऐसा?
Have you
ओके, ठीक है। चलो हम अपना प्रार्थना श्लोक पढ़ लेते हैं। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनंदनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् एकं शास्त्रं देवकी पुत्र गीतम् एको देवो देवकी पुत्र एव एको मंत्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्येकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावा पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेतः यच्छ्रेयसात् निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं साधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम् यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयो भूतिर्ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांघ्रे। भवे भवे यथा भक्तिः पादयोस्तव जायते तथा कुरुष्व देवेश नाथस्त्वं नो यतः प्रभो। नाम संकीर्तनं यस्य सर्वपाप प्रणाशनम् प्रणामो दुःखशमनस्तं नमामि हरिं परम्। हरि ओम तत्सत्।